the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback podcast time. Welcome to the show, everyone. It's good to be here. Talk 49ers versus Seattle Seahawks because it's a game preview show. And anytime it's a game preview show, we're going to get some score predictions, of course. We're going to get some wow, that's bold predictions. We know that's coming. But we're also going to get some key matchups and how exactly the 49ers can handle the Seattle Seahawks. And it's going to be a fun one. Seattle's coming off a bye, looking to get a big win in San Francisco, and the 49ers are looking to continue the positive trend that sees them winning 2 games in a row. Seattle would make it 3. And if you win 3 games in a row, you put yourself in position to get yourself in a nice playoff position. Now, you're trying to chase down the Arizona Cardinals. They're going to be sitting idle as they're on a bye this week. This is an opportunity to make up a half game. And we know the 49ers ultimately have lost the tiebreaker to Arizona as of right now. Arizona beat the 49ers. So week 18 is the first time they can make up that game against Arizona outright. But until then, you have to make sure you're doing your job and winning football games. And beating a division rival is exactly what you need to do. And if you can't get up for this game, you can't get up for any game. So the 49ers are going to be highly motivated to go out there and compete against the Seattle Seahawks. And the last time they played wasn't that long ago, and the San Francisco 49ers were able to get the victory 36-24, and it was a fun one. It came down the stretch. It was a good, exciting game, and the San Francisco 49ers were able to pull it out, a lot because of an Isaac Guerendo big-time run at the end of the game where he absolutely sealed the deal and slid down. And it was just a fantastic opportunity for the 49ers to win in Seattle, which they've done really well so far over the last couple of years. I mean, Brock Purdy's numbers for Seattle are just through the roof. He's 5-0. He doesn't lose to Seattle. He absolutely destroys them. So he's looking to keep that positive trend going. And the Seahawks are looking to turn this thing around. If they lose this game, they haven't won in a calendar month. That's not good for them. That would potentially put them out of the mix for the playoffs. And so the 49ers know what they can do. They can put Seattle pretty much away. They can put themselves in prime position to win and make the playoffs. And that's exactly what they're trying to do in this one. So we're going to get all into it. We're going to have key matchups. It's going to be a lot of fun. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The listening audio platform, 49ers Cutback on Believe Network. Please give it a 5-star rating. And if you're going to bet with Bet Online. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball to NHL, UFC, and MMA, head to BetOnline today to get in on the action. With America's most trusted site for online wagering, BetOnline, the game starts here. So let's talk a little bit about the coaching staff. Of course, there was the wholesale change during the offseason as the Seattle Seahawks decided to go in a different direction. Out goes Pete Carroll, and he had a 9-8 record last year. It wasn't bad, but they decided they wanted to go in a different direction, and they choose to go with Mike Macdonald, the defensive coordinator from Baltimore. So he comes in bringing his own defensive philosophy with a lot of players that were handpicked by Pete Carroll. And boy, has it been interesting because we've seen Mike Macdonald make some changes, especially at the linebacker core, where he's moved on from his 2 big free agent signings. Jerome Baker, he's gone. Tyrell Dotson, he's gone as well. And in comes Ernest Jones, the 4th. He's going to be starting. And then their young 4th-round pick, Tyrese Knight, is going to get his first opportunity to start for Seattle as well. So number 1 tackler, Dotson, he's gone. And in comes the young guy, Knight. And it's an interesting time for this to happen. But Mike Macdonald's trying to figure out what he has on his football team, and he's trying to get better play. So that's going to be significant. Now, Macdonald has been a very good defensive coordinator at every stop that he's had, whether that was in college or when he was with Baltimore. So he's got much ability, and I'm sure he's going to be primed and ready, having an extra week to prepare for the 49ers because, yes, Seattle's coming off a bye. That means they have a rest advantage against the 49ers. 49ers are used to this being the issue, that they're going to just be in a deficit when it comes to rest. But, overall, Mike Macdonald's defense hasn't done very well this year. They have not been good at stopping the run. They haven't been primarily great against stopping the pass either. And so the 49ers could have an opportunity. So Macdonald definitely doesn't have all the personnel or all the ingredients to, put together the dish that he wants to be the defensive backfield and defensive team for his football team. Now, Ryan Grubb is the offensive coordinator, came over from UW last year with Michael Penix Jr., had that tremendous college offense. He also had a really good offense when he was at Fresno State. So he's well acclaimed. He's got a lot of ability. And the 49ers know that Geno Smith is going to want to sling it. And that's exactly what they're going to try to do. Grubb definitely likes to get the ball into his playmaker's hands. And lucky for him, he's going to have a playmaker back. DK Metcalf will be back in the fold after missing a couple of games. So they're going to be full strength at wide receiver. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. So the talent is definitely there for Seattle. 49ers did really well against those guys the first time that they met, and we'll see if they can get it done in this matchup. But offensively, for the San Francisco 49ers, a key in this football game has got to be the run game versus Seahawks defense. The Seahawks defense has not been good against the run this year. They give up 139 yards per game. That's not good. And we know that they're going to probably put a lot of focus on stopping the 49ers running game, especially because Christian McCaffrey is back. And that run game that the 49ers had going against them last time that got over 200 yards, 228 yards on the ground for the 49ers last time. And that was with Jordan Mason getting hurt in the first half and Isaac Guerendo, coming on and taking over the role and doing a really good job. Guerendo, 99 yards on the ground. Jordan Mason, over 70 yards on the ground, 75 yards on the ground. You look at Brock Purdy, he was scrambling and getting yards. Debo getting in the action. When you have over 200 yards, you're dominating on the ground. So Seattle is going to pay attention to what the 49ers are doing with the ground game, and they're going to try to slow them up. There's going to be an attention to that. And we just saw what Tampa Bay did, putting 5 defensive linemen on the line of scrimmage pretty much every time the 49ers were in 21 or 12 personnel. So that means if you're in 21, you have 2 running backs, 1 tight end. You're in 12, you have 1 running back, 2 tight ends. And every time they did that, they're pretty much in a 5-man front, unless they got a stop on first down and forced a 2nd and long, then they would go to a 4-man front. So there was a certain way that Todd Bowles' defense wanted to attack. So how much will Mike Macdonald look at what Todd Bowles did and say, hey, there's a way to stop the run game? This is one of the most ineffective games the 49ers had in the run game was against Tampa. Now, I did all the film breakdowns over on Patreon. Those are all available. If you want to go check those out, link is in the description. You can go see. There were opportunities for the 49ers to get a lot more in the running game, and sometimes it was the running backs not reading the proper blocks, and sometimes it was a guy just missing a block that would have changed that game tremendously. So there's some things definitely the 49ers could have taken advantage of, even against those heavy 5-man fronts and 8-man loaded boxes that they were going to be facing. But the Seahawks just struggle against the run, and the 49ers have been pretty darn good. 49ers averaging 149 yards on the ground this season, and that's been mainly without Christian McCaffrey. So Jordan Mason, Isaac Guerendo, Debo Samuel, Brock Purdy have been chipping in to make sure this run game has been very effective, and they've continued to look really good so far. So that's going to be one of the key ingredients in this game, is the 49ers establishing a successful run game against the Seattle Seahawks. And it should be a lot easier with the Seattle Seahawks making an adjustment at linebacker. Dotson was pretty good the last time the 49ers played him. He was flashing around making tackles. He led Seattle in tackles when they released him this week. It's one of the most interesting things. But we'll see. Tyrese Knight is going to be tested, especially when it comes to how he's going to run stop. But we'll see what the 49ers can throw at him. Now, running the ball consistently is going to establish play action, and we saw that last week. The 49ers were able to get some big plays, including that slide concept where you got George Kittle out in the flat. Brock Purdy fakes the pitch to Christian McCaffrey, rolls out and hits George Kittle, and then Kittle makes a great move, gets past Levante David and rumbles upfield and gets all the way to the 35-yard line. It was an explosive play. So the 49ers had some opportunities with play action. I love that play action is getting reintroduced a little bit more. It looks more like 49ers football. So I expect that to be a big part of it, because once you start respecting Christian McCaffrey in the running game, those linebackers start coming up and you start having opportunities behind them. And we saw it. There was also RPO to Deebo Samuel, another play action where they got the ball to Deebo behind him. So there are successful avenues now to get the ball down the field to your playmakers in space. And that intermediate part of the field is starting to open up. Christian McCaffrey does that. He either helps you spread them out horizontally or creates a void vertically, which is really good to see. So 49ers get some playmakers, and Christian McCaffrey is going to add to that. But you can establish a run game and at least make them think you're going to continue to make a concerted effort to run the football. They have to engage. But that number 23 being in the backfield does wonders for people's attention. All of a sudden, linebackers want to fly up and try to make a play, and it creates some opportunities for you behind them. So expect the Seattle Seahawks in this game to load up with 5 and 6 man fronts, load up with 8 guys in the box, and put the onus on the 49ers to beat them with the pass. I think they're going to want to take Christian McCaffrey out of this game early in the run game. They're going to want to force the 49ers to not have success on first down running the football or second down. So I expect that to happen. And so last time they played, the Seahawks ran a ton of 3 safety looks. So they would bring the extra safety on, put him in the box, and they felt like that was the best way to stop the 49ers passing attack, but also help in the running game. So they didn't want to have their base sets on. So when the 49ers went 21 personnel, 12 personnel, they would still stay 3 safeties instead of putting the extra linebacker out there. So I thought that was an interesting way they attacked. It did not work in slowing down the 49ers running game. So let's see if they get bigger. Let's see if they get more bold and get an extra bigger linebacker out there instead of a 3 safety look, because they did struggle to stop the run. The only problem with that is if you do that and you go with a little bit bigger and not the safety, well, then guys like Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle get matchups that they like, and they make it a lot tougher for you in the passing game. Now, both interior linebackers, it's going to be interesting because you got Ernest Jones, the 4th, and Tyrese Knight coming in, and that's going to be a little bit interesting because here comes Christian McCaffrey. And one of the first things that Kyle Shanahan's going to try to do is get them matched up. We've seen what happened when you get him on Ernest Jones. Ernest Jones was linebacker for the Rams. You get McCaffrey lined up one-on-one, mismatch advantage, Christian McCaffrey. Tyrese Knight was a good young player coming out. We liked him all when the draft process was going. But this is a matchup you got to love, Christian McCaffrey versus Tyrese Knight. So finding matchups for McCaffrey versus those interior linebackers is going to be one of the keys in this game for Kyle Shanahan. And, that's what makes it easy. All of a sudden you run play action and you leak one of those guys out. It makes it tough. Those guys have to continually focus on 23. They're not focusing on somebody else. So the respect for Christian McCaffrey in the running game is going to start opening things up for other guys, but also his attention he gets in the passing game is going to start opening things up for other guys. We saw last week they would double team Christian McCaffrey and bracket cover him, and when they did that, it opened the door for some other things to happen, and there were some opportunities missed, but there was also some opportunities that were definitely liked and taken advantage of by 49ers wide receivers and playmakers. So Christian McCaffrey effect is real. He's like a gravitational pull that pulls people's attention to him. And when that happens, it makes it tough. It's also really good when you have another gravitational pull in Deebo Samuel and you put them on opposite sides of the field. And next thing you know, they're drawing the attention of more than one set of eyes. And that's giving you an opportunity for guys like Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall to get some wins. And we've seen George Kittle kind of cook the safeties for Seattle over the last couple years. He's done a very good job. So I love the fact that they're going to be able to use the running game, but also McCaffrey in the passing game to kind of get some favorable looks for other players. It's that effect of McCaffrey that's going to be huge for this 49ers offense, and hopefully they can capitalize and get some good first downs and some really good plays. So getting George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey against linebackers is going to be huge. And I would throw in their Deebo as well. We've seen Kyle Shanahan find matchups as Deebo Samuel versus linebackers. I mean, look at what they did with Eric Kendricks for the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys tried to play Deebo Samuel one-on-one and ran into a problem. So what do you do matchup-wise if Christian McCaffrey goes in the slot and Debo stays in the backfield? Do you put a linebacker on Christian McCaffrey? Ask Levante David. That's matchup advantage Christian McCaffrey. So if you put a safety and you try to cover Debo out of the backfield with a linebacker, advantage Debo. So how exactly do you go to match up with the 49ers that finds you a favorable matchup? Well, the key could be just getting to the quarterback faster than one of those guys can get open. So look for Kyle Shanahan to use those guys to kind of create some opportunities for each other and for the other playmakers. Because when you're focused on Debo out of the backfield, maybe sending an extra guy his way, Christian McCaffrey getting one of your key cover guys on him, well, then that means Ricky Pearsall's one-on-one or Jawan Jennings is one-on-one. And we know that Witherspoon and Woolen are good corners, but there's advantages there for the 49ers. They can take advantage of some of the matchups and win. So I love this for the 49ers. I love McCaffrey, Kittle, and Debo versus the linebackers of the Seattle Seahawks and even the safeties as well. We've seen George Kittle do so good against the safety. So those are matchups I'm looking forward to seeing from the offense. And you know what? I want to see some Debo and Christian McCaffrey in the backfield together too. Not just on the opposite side of the field, but also in the backfield together. I think it's a little bit interesting, maybe a double screen type thing, a little bit of, some counters, some reverses, things like that, getting the flow going one way and being able to use the opposite player going the other way. I think it's going to be open. And there's some stuff I would love to see from those two guys in the backfield. So I'm excited about that. Now, Brock has to continue to do what he did last week, take advantage of what's there. The defense is giving you a check down, boom, hit it. Let those guys create. Let the yak attack go get some things done. If you have a shot down the field, don't be afraid to take it. You're going to get mismatches. There's going to be a time you get McCaffrey on a linebacker or Debo on a linebacker or safety or George, the same thing. When those happen, take them 100%. Shoot your shot and make sure you get a big-time play. But when it's not there, don't press it. Don't stay on someone too long. Come off of it, get the ball out to an open receiver because you want to minimize negative plays. You don't want to have, number one, turnovers or sacks. So that's something that he's going to have to do in this game. But he did an excellent job last week of recognizing what the Bucs were doing, getting rid of the football, and sometimes canning into really good plays for the 49ers. So hugely excited about what Brock Purdy could do in this game. So let's flip it over to the defense. And you've got an opportunity to do this key, and that's put pressure on Geno Smith. Normally I would come in and I would say, hey, we need to stop the running game. But I think in this matchup, that is something you have to do. But I think if you get pressure on Geno Smith, the way that they like to throw the football so much, you can turn this thing into a couple of mistakes that change the game in your favor. And the last time they played, Geno Smith threw 2 interceptions. One to Malik Mustafa, one to Renardo Green. Malik on the first drive of the game in the red zone. The one to Renardo Green basically put the 49ers in a situation where they could go win the game. So very critical turnovers by Geno Smith. And part of the reason that he does that is because when he gets people around him, he's not able to step into his throws. He kind of starts losing his eye contact downfield, his eye discipline, and then he just will whip the ball downfield. He'll airmail it and not stick on his spots. And that's where mistakes happen. So let's look at their offense. They've thrown for 268 yards per game this season, which is a good number. The 49ers' pass defense has actually gotten so much better. They're only giving up 197 yards per game through the air. And, of course, last week they held Baker Mayfield and that Tampa Bay offense in check when it came to throwing the football. Renardo Green has come on. He's a top 3 corner now, according to PFF. So he's done really well. They have De'Amara Lenore, who just got the new contract. He's been playing really well this season. And so you see these guys stepping up, young players making plays. And I think that's what the 49ers want to do here. Talked about it last time that they played. Malik has an interception, and also Renardo Green, young players making plays for this football team. And in the secondary, that's exactly what you need. So very excited about this matchup. And getting pressure on Geno Smith, where he's prone to make mistakes, is going to be a key. And one of those things I like is stopping them on first and second down, not letting Kenneth Walker get anything going on the ground, and getting into third and long. And the Seattle Seahawks face 3rd and 9+ more than any team in the NFL. They have struggled. They go the longest distance to get first downs in the NFL. crazy how unsuccessful they are on first and second down. 49ers need to continue that trend and get off the field. So I love the Sam O, Yetur Gross Matos package versus the Seahawks. I like the quicker defensive ends inside against these offensive linemen for Seattle, where you got Laken Tomlinson, who we're familiar with, but you can bull rush him with a guy like Malik Collins, right? You can get some movement with Jordan Elliott, but you can also beat him with those speed guys like Sam Okawanu, who has a speed-power combination that I would love in there. I like Malik Collins a lot against Laken Tomlinson, but I like Sam O as well. So I want to see that. Test that interior offensive line for Seattle, but also test Abraham Lucas, who is returning for his first action of the season. Go line up, go get after him, and just keep putting pressure on him every single play and see if you can't get him to where you can get some plays against him at offensive tackle. This offensive line for Seattle is not great. You have opportunities. You just have to go out there and take advantage of those opportunities that you're going to get. So that's going to be a key, is forcing them into third and long situations and then getting after Geno Smith by not just getting a blitz package together, which could be nice from Nick Sorensen, but also your front four getting good pressure. And I love the Sam O package coming in when it's third and long. There will still be a focus on stopping the run, but I expect the 49ers to try to stop it with too high safety look. So one thing we've seen from the 49ers, when they can, they just come out and they will go too high safety. They'll try to stop it with a light box. And if they have success with it, they just stick that way. Now, occasionally they'll bring an eighth guy in, which I love. Get Jair and Malik Mustafa in the box. Let them go do their work. But if you can stay too high safety and you can stop the run with less guys in the box, that just puts you in a better situation when it comes to coverage. It's always better when you have a light box and can stop the run. And Seattle, are they going to be motivated enough to stick with it? Sometimes when teams see you in that too high safety look, though they should go directly to the run, will still stay in the pass. And when you got a guy like DK Metcalf who needs to be fed the rock, a lot of times you can't just run the football. You've got to throw to please him. So the 49ers, I expect them to try to have a light box early in this game, two high safeties, put the onus on Geno Smith to check into the run plays and see if Kenneth Walker and the Seattle Seahawks offense can get it going on the ground. If they can, we'll go 8-man boxes and try to stop them. You're not going to let it get away from you, but for sure, if you can test and get it done, that's important. And don't let Kenneth Walker get started. What I'm talking about is when you have the opportunity, go make the tackle. Sometimes it's difficult, but you got to go out there and get it done, make the tackle, and get right on him. So I expect the 49ers to try to tackle well against Kenneth Walker, not allow him to get going in the screen game, to break tackles and get extra yards after contact. That's going to be key in this game, because once he gets rolling, it just rolls downhill. So don't ever even let him get started. And he was not effective the last time the Seattle Seahawks played the San Francisco 49ers. He carried the ball 14 times for 32 yards, a 2.3 average, and his longest run was 8 yards. The 49ers were absolutely suffocating on defense when it came to the run game. So that's something to remember as well. 49ers were good last time. They need to make sure they're good again against Kenneth Walker. Now, third and long is a must. I brought up Seattle struggles with the distance that they go with the third and long. And I think that that's something that the 49ers have to force, because when you look at the third down conversion rate, for the Seattle Seahawks, they convert at 35%. They are bad on third down. And the 49ers need to make sure they get off the field. Yeah, you want to force turnovers, but if you can get a 3 and out, absolutely get it. Don't help them in any way. And so even though the 49ers have given up third down conversions at 43% on defense, they still should be able to get off the field in this game. Do not allow Seattle any cheap third down conversions. Put the pressure on them. And if you get them to third and long, come after Geno Smith. That's the game plan. Make sure you're successful on first and second down. And when you get to third, put that Sam Okawanu package in. Come after Geno Smith. Bring pressure. Put the onus on him to think quickly and make a play. And either get off the field or get a turnover. That's going to be the key in this football game. Now, when you look at the 49ers conversion rate, they're converting on offense at 43% on third down. Needs to be better. Last year, they were closer to 47%, so they got some work to do to be better. And the Seahawks defense has been good on third down. Now, the first time the 49ers played the Seahawks were actually only allowing third down conversions at 32%. Now they've went up 5% to 37%. So 49ers were very successful in that game on third down. And now the Seattle Seahawks are coming a little bit back and not as good on third down. But they have been a good third down defense this season under Mike McDonald, which is always good. The 49ers wish they were playing defense and stopping conversions at a 37% rate. That would be fantastic. Now let's talk about the red zone. It's been a conversation for the 49ers all season. The 49ers red zone TD percentage at 47%. Not really an uptick, even though Christian McCaffrey came back. 49ers only went 1 of 3, and they had opportunities. They did have opportunities to get touchdown to Christian McCaffrey. They had a touchdown to George Kittle that they missed the throw on. So opportunities were definitely there. They didn't capitalize, and they got to get better. So 49ers will look to continue to get better at it. And the Seahawks defense, they allow some touchdowns when people get in the red zone. They allow touchdowns at 54%. That's actually a higher average than Tampa Bay did last week. So 49ers got to feel like they have an opportunity against Seattle to get some touchdowns in this game, and you need touchdowns. Touchdowns are definitely a lot better than field goals, especially with some of the nervousness surrounding Jake Moody. What exactly are we going to get from Jake Moody? Are we going to get the successful kicker that had hit 12 or 13 this season? Or are we going to get the guy that was inconsistent last week and missed 3 field goals? That's going to be a key. I'd rather see the 49ers get a lot of touchdowns and let Jake Moody see the ball go through with extra points. Just seeing it go through on extra points, right down the middle. That's all you have to do is aim right down the middle. He's kicking at home. I'd love to see him do that for a game where he's not tasked with kicking a field goal and he can just see it go through. It's a lot like a free throw shooter. They see the ball go in, they see it go in consistently, and all of a sudden they feel comfortable. That's what I'm hoping from Jake Moody. So get in the end zone this week. Now, the Seahawks, they score touchdowns when they get in the red zone at 52%. It's not tremendous, but it's not terrible. Over 50% is pretty good. 49ers need to make sure they hold them out of the end zone. 49ers are sitting at allowing touchdowns at a 60% rate. Last week, they held a very good Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense who was scoring touchdowns at 70%. Down to 50%. So it wasn't a huge improvement, but it was a lot better than it had been. So 49ers have an opportunity here to get some touchdowns and then hold Seattle out. And the team that's scoring touchdowns and not kicking field goals is going to have a better opportunity to win this game. But any chance at points, you definitely take it. Now you look at the giveaways. 49ers have 12 giveaways this season, and the Seattle Seahawks have 15. So 49ers giveaway still too high. Special teams added to it last week. Offense took care of the football, but the special teams let us down. A fumble, Darrell Luter Jr. running into Jacob Cowing or being shoved into Jacob Cowing and causing a fumble definitely hurt the 49ers. Seahawks have not been good with the football this year. Geno Smith is, the number 1 quarterback in the league as far as throwing interceptions. He's thrown 10 this season. That's part of the reason they have so many giveaways and why they've been on a losing streak. He's been inaccurate, and he's put some balls in harm's way. And that's why I'm saying that that's one of the keys in this game, or the number 1 key is getting pressure on Geno Smith. He's prone to mistakes and giving you opportunities. Now with takeaways, the 49ers have 15 this season. That's a good number. Didn't get any last week, which I know definitely frustrated them. A couple of times close, but couldn't pull it in. Seahawks, they don't even have 10 this year. They haven't been a team that's been able to take the ball away consistently. So the 49ers are a little bit better at getting the football, a little bit better at taking away the football. And that's why the 49ers have the advantage when it comes to turnover differential. 49ers are +3. They want it higher. They want it closer to +10. But right now, +3 is still putting them in a situation where they can win a lot of games. Seattle is -6. They're just not playing winning football right now. The way they're turning over the football and the way that they're not able to get turnovers themselves has definitely been a little bit of a problem for them. So they're going to have to get better at taking care of the football. Right now, 49ers coming into this game +9 over Seattle as far as turnover differential. That's really crazy. And we've seen if the 49ers win the turnover battle, they usually win the game. So there's some metrics there that you need to win. If you win third downs, you're better at converting on third down. You're better in the red zone scoring touchdowns. And you are better when it comes to turnovers at the end of the game. You're going to win the game. That's just the metrics that go with winning football games in the NFL. Those are keys for any football game, but especially this one. And now we're going to get into the Wow That's Bold predictions. This is brought to you by 49erscutbackshop.com, where you can get all of your 49ers Cutback Shop merch. You can also get 49ers inspired merch. So go check it out. Link is in the description section. And love to see you guys wearing some 49ers Cutback merch out there. And it's always a lot of fun to see you guys sporting the merch. There's mugs and all that stuff. So lots of stuff over there. Go check it out. Wow, that's bold predictions.
Wow, that's really bold. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
It's got to be really bold. It's got to be whoa. So last week I got a couple right. It's been a struggle. I haven't been able to get all 4 right this season, but I guess that's hard when it comes to predictions. But this week I think the 49ers offense is going to score some touchdowns. And so I got the 49ers scoring 4 touchdowns in this football game. I normally go with individual players doing things or like the team doing something on, third down and stuff like that. But I think they're going to score 4 touchdowns. I think they're going to have a lot of success against the Seattle Seahawks defense. And so I wanted to put that out there in my Wow That's Bold prediction. And then I'm going to say Brock Purdy has no turnovers. And so I have predicted that Brock Purdy was going to have no turnovers 3 out of the 4 times that he had no turnovers. And I'm going to stick with it in this game. I think he's going to take care of the ball, and that's going to be really beneficial to the 49ers. So hopefully I'm right, because when Brock Purdy doesn't turn over the football, I think it's actually 5 times now this season that he hasn't turned over the football. They're 5-0. And in his career, 16-0 when he doesn't have a turnover that the 49ers win. So him taking care of the football is a key element to the 49ers winning, especially on offense. Now you look at defense, and I got Jair Brown getting an interception. I think this is an opportunity for him. Malik and Renardo got it last time they played Geno. They usually always find Yammer Lenore. For whatever reason, Geno Smith likes throwing him interceptions. But I think Jair Brown's going to have an opportunity. I think he's going to get an interception in this game. I think Geno's going to try to throw up one to DK, and Jair's going to undercut it and pick it off, and he'll end up getting an interception in this game. And then I'm going to predict a Leonard Floyd sack. I like Leonard Floyd in this matchup. I think he came close last week against Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield. Geno Smith is not as elusive. He's not as strong in the pocket. So I think there's some opportunities for Leonard Floyd to get there. And I think he does get a sack in this football game. Now it's time for the score prediction. I talked about that. I think the 49ers are going to score 4 touchdowns. And I think that they're going to win this game. I really do. I think that we're about to see the 49ers play their best 60-minute game that we've seen so far. And I know that's a bold prediction. I probably should have put that in there. But I think they're going to do that. And I think it's going to be complimentary football. I think we're going to see the special teams play a little bit better. And I know Seattle is number 3 when it comes to DVOA, and the 49ers are number 31. The last time the 49ers played a top 5 DVOA team on special teams was the Cowboys, and the 49ers won that matchup on special teams. So I expect them to rise to the occasion. The attention it got was frustrating for the 49ers. And I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to beat the Seattle Seahawks 38-17 in this matchup. So I think they're going to get it done. They're going to score 4 touchdowns. They're going to get some field goals in there as well. And they're going to win this game by 20 points. I think they're going to win this game handily and kind of just set their season up for a big-time explosion. That will put them at 6-4, headed into that big matchup with Green Bay, and on the cusp of really getting something rolling there. But 3 in a row with a division win on top, that could be really huge. So let me know what your Wow That's Bold predictions are, what your score prediction is in the comment section down below. Really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you think I deserve it. If you're listening audio platform, 49ers Cutback on Believe Network, please give it a 5-star rating. And this episode is brought to you by Bet Online. The game starts here. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, stay safe. Remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.